So today things are getting jacked up. I'm planning to put this onto my car outside. Now I did hint in a previous video that I'd like to make an exhaust pipe for my car. Well, this is, I guess, the fruition of that. In order to make my car more obnoxious than it already is. Hell yeah, brother. Make sure, generally speaking, is if you're doing stuff on cars that you're as safe as is humanly possible. And use every kind of safety thing you've got in your garage to protect yourself. Outweighs 1.4 tonne. You definitely don't want that landing on you. The exhaust pipe's under this side of the vehicle, so I need it tilted up this way to get easier access. This thing is ridiculous. You reach that point of no return. When you cut your silencer box off, that is that point. I know just the thing to do with this as well. But now I've got to remember that this is the correct orientation, that this way is up, that way is wrong. Now I did take some rough dimensions before I cut it off, and I know it's about 76 centimeters from where the cut is to the muffler tip, that I have to make this much pipe. Now I do have this much pipe, but it's not going to be as simple as just cutting this and welding it up. There is a cant on this end because of the way this routes through. So what I'm doing with this is basically making this a sleeve fit. So this section of pipe will go inside this one. So for fit up it should be a bit easier that way. This is about where I want the exhaust pipe to sit, nicely positioned with the rear trim there. So I'm going to mark for length first, or thereabouts anyway. So I'm going to give me I don't know, another 20 mil or something in case I need to adjust that. We'll call that good. So what I'm looking at is that angle, that's butted up. I figure the easiest way to do that will be to square this end and then cut the angle out of this straight to bring them together and weld them up. I've also got to consider that this sleeve here is going to be on further. So I might do this first, this bit first, and then come back and cut this angle. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting this on here and then welding up to this end here. So this is the bit that's on the car. So I'm just going to try and bring this into square as best I can. So I'm going to take the length measurement. This will now stay on the car until it comes to welding it up. So, because otherwise if I take this off and do fit up, I'm then changing two variables at once, which is just asking for a pain in the ass. This will be then cut to fit this, and then I'll take the whole lot off the car, weld it up, put it back on and realise it doesn't fit. So what I've done here is I've fitted the pipe up on the car, and then I've taken this angle from the face angle of the pipe that's already on the car. I then marked a perpendicular line. This is a 90-degree line from this plane, if you like. And then what I'm going to try and do is take this as 0 degrees, this cross mark 180 degrees on the other side of the pipe, and then kind of eyeball this line around, and then hopefully I'm going to be able to cut that angle in the pipe with an angle grinder and see how that fits up. The first thing I'm going to do is find the circumference of the piece of pipe. Easiest way to do that is a bit of string and a tape measure, right? 180 mil. Half of 180 is 90, so we can count 90 mil around the circumference and mark it off, and those points will then be 180 degrees apart. And then we've got our angle. It's absolutely disgusting, but I'm going to clean it up on the sander and see how it goes. Not too bad. There's a big gap, but like there's some metal to take off here.
2 hours later.
And the fit up is getting there. The issue is I've got a gap around this side, right there, which I'm beginning to narrow down on. Alright, so I think I peaked. But yeah, mostly the fit up, I think I can get away with welding that. And I think, to be fair, if I keep going, I'm kind of going to be chasing my tail on this. I'll tell you what, the one thing I've learnt about doing this kind of thing is that you can do loads of welding coupons on like a nice bench where you can sit nicely, and that's super good practice. It's really good practice. I learnt a lot from doing that. But you learn so much more about problem solving when you're doing welding like this. I guess that's true of any skill, right? It's like driving a car or riding a motorbike, right? There's only so much driving or riding around a car park you can do before you have to go on the road and like figure the rest of it out. And now the fun bit. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap here after the tack. What I'm worried about doing is blowing into these corners and sort of making the hole bigger. Yeah, a little bit of what I was worried about happened, blown into this corner here. You know, it's not going to win any competitions, but we ain't trying to win competitions. We're trying to weld this piece of shit exhaust pipe up. And so far, in terms of welding pieces of shit exhaust pipes go, this is pretty average. Pretty standard. So far, this is going well. I mean, apart from this section, but I'll bring you in for that in a minute. You can have a good old laugh. So this is what I've got to deal with next, and this is what I was worried about happening, was blowing through the edges on the pipe. I'm not very good with gaps. I don't really know how to deal with them yet. So this is what I got going on. This massive hole that I managed to make. So I've come up with a cunning plan. Lay 2 TIG filler rods into the gap and then light up on those, fill it with metal, I guess. Now I'm going to do the same down here, see if I can fill that hole as well. I mean, it's the ugliest shit I've ever seen, but I did manage to fill the hole. So that's what I've been left with. I know it's awful. Like, it's flipping awful. But it is welded. I need to learn how to fill gaps. That's what I need to do. Gaps are a big deal to me. I can't do them. I tend to blow the edges away. But, yeah, it's a solid 3 out of 10, I guess. Well. It's all welded up and on there. Sound test time. Everybody's favourite part of fitting a new exhaust, right? In all honesty, I thought that didn't go too bad. Pipes on there, looks kind of weird, but it sounds alright. So I'm going to chalk that up as a success. And in my next video, I'll be teaching you how to get permanent marker off of car paintwork. Thanks for watching.